Hey everybody, Sam and Max here, and today we've got a special announcement, and then we're going to do a Q&A, so there's a timestamp somewhere if you want to go to either one of those things. So our announcement is that we're starting a Patreon.
Yes, we are super excited. We often get asked what are ways people can support us, and people have actually asked us to set up a way to for tipping or for a Patreon or something. And we've gotten so much positive feedback and attention and support. We thought it was a good time to finally roll this out.
So this helps justify the amount of time we already spend on the mod, which is hundreds of hours per update.
Yeah.
And you get some cool perks in it as well. I just want to say up top that our existing content won't change. We still have plans to put out previews and stuff on the main channel, same with the trailers and the devlogs. None of that's going to change. Anything that we'd put on the main channel is going to stay on the main channel. The only extra things that we wouldn't have made otherwise will be on the Patreon.
Right, and it's very much worth mentioning that if you cannot donate to us and you are not in a situation financially to do so, please do not. Make sure your own situations are good to go. Don't borrow money from anybody or anything to pay for us. Only do this if you have extra cash knocking around and you want to show just a little thanks.
Yep, and just to clarify, this is not a Biome Makeover Patreon, it's a Laser Knights Patreon, so it covers all our projects, future and past really. So it's us, not a specific project we're working on, if that makes sense. And part of that is we're going to be planning on working on a bit of a secret project that the Patreon people are going to be able to get a sneak peek at.
Yeah, it's going to be a slow work in progress. Biome Makeover is still going to be our primary focus for the time being, but you'll get sneak peeks and see updates as we progress with that through the coming weeks, months, and who knows how long.
So we're going to get into the details of the perks and the tiers and stuff like that. So if you're not interested in that, just skip to the time on the screen to skip to the Q&A.
All right, so we've got 3 tiers. The first one is Marshall. It is a $3 tier. It gives access to our Patreon exclusive Discord channel, as well as the Marshall role in the Laser Knights Discord. You'll get exclusive early sneak peeks of things we're working on, things like text post images, that kind of thing. And you'll be able to vote in a pool of biomes for the next Biome Makeover update. Which on that real quick, so this is something we've thought about for a little while, and a lot of people have been interested in actually the community deciding what biome we should update next for Biome Makeover. And this is a good way to do it. We will select a couple of biomes, 2, 3, 4, that we feel like that would fit very well for the current development cycle of the mod, and put those up and allow patrons to vote for that.
Okay, so the next tier is the Lieutenant tier at $6. So you get everything mentioned before. That's the sneak peeks, the biome voting, and all the extra little Patreon page stuff. You also get access to beta versions of our mods, so that includes like early access to the Biome Makeover update. So this will be like a week or so before release. It'll vary, but when the mod's in a good state and we need people to test it, you'll be able to help us out with that. You also get access to exclusive live streams and videos. So there'll be extra videos, so there'll be things like special Q&As, showcases, maybe like director's commentary on an existing video, something extra like that. And the last thing you get is special access to a Minecraft server. So this server won't be up all the time, but it'll be up a decent amount. It'll have different mod packs on it, and you'll be able to play in a nice, safe sort of community server. And then our last tier, which is the Captain tier. So this one is at $12. So you don't actually get anything extra with this. You get like a special role in our Discord. But this is just like if you want to support us extra. We don't expect anyone to go for this, but if you want to, it's there.
And just to reiterate, only become a patron to support us and our projects. Don't pledge for the rewards, and don't pledge if you aren't able to. We expect no one is obligated to do this whatsoever. It's just out there for people who want to show us a little support. And also the Patreon is for the Laser Knights channel, Sam and I. It's not just for Biome Makeover or just for any single project or aspect that we're working on. We plan on having a lot more projects in the future, and you'll get access and sneak peeks of those as well.
Okay, so our first question is, if you were to remodel another part of Minecraft, what would you change? So I think we've both discussed this at length, and I think it's probably something to do with like the food system, right?
Yeah, so survival in general in Minecraft is really quirky. And I think there's a lot of individual features you could dive into, like sleeping, food, combat, all kinds of stuff. But the food system is just feels like it's so like grandfathered in at this point, I think.
Yeah, I would change it. We both have different opinions on this. We've talked about it in length. I would
Yeah.
change it to be similar to like sort of like the beta combat where you didn't actually have a health bar. A hunger bar. It more like directly affected your health. Maybe like a tweaked version of that. And you wanted something a little bit
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, I think I would go with in the opposite direction and do more like a survival base, like what you ate. Your diet affects like your performance and what tasks you're doing. Nothing like super like nitty gritty like you're counting calories and micro and macronutrients, but just where there's an incentive to eat different foods because as the game stands, like if you have like a hoglin farm, like you're set. You got pork chops, you're done. You don't eat any other food item. And it would be nice to like want to have a reason to eat bread or cookies or stews or beets or something.
Yeah, there's a lot of nuance to it. I'd also like remodel like combat in general and stuff like that. But there's lots of parts of it that are like just like a little bit boring or like just like okay. But I don't think we're
Also,
probably gonna like make any mods to the stuff anytime soon. But
Oh no. Yeah. Also, I think Phantoms we both agree are pretty underwhelming
Yeah.
to annoying.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Will you be playing Hytale when it releases?
Yeah, I'll definitely
probably.
check it out. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's looks like it's all right. I'd have to play it to know if I like it. I have a feeling like it's gonna disappoint a lot of people, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I think disappoints may be strong. I think people are expecting, well, I don't know, maybe disappointing is right. Expecting too much or expecting it to be something it's not. That happens a lot with games that have a large community and a lot of hype before they come out.
Yeah.
And so I think if people approach it with an open mind, it'll probably be pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to kill Minecraft. I think some people are going to prefer
No.
it, some people won't. We'll have to see really, but we'll definitely play it.
Yeah, I mean, but how many like crafting games and voxel games have come out, that could affect Minecraft? But
I don't think
rarely
any
has.
have like directly challenged Minecraft in the same way Hytale seems to be doing though.
True. Yeah, good point.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
We'll see.
What are some of the scrapped ideas from Biome Makeover?
Yeah. There is a decent amount. Things get scrapped throughout the entire creative process. So we might like maybe 6 months ago we had an idea for swamps or dark forest, and when we actually got around to doing it, we're like, that doesn't really fit for what we're going for, or I don't know about that. There may be things like when we first sit down and have our big talk to kind of brainstorm, and then the subsequent ones after. There might be, we usually just kind of like brainstorm kind of anything that would fit, and then we hone it down. So there's plenty of ideas that get scrapped in those two scenarios. But as far as like actual ideas, like, hey, we're probably going to implement these, and then they don't make it. A few in our most recent update, the Dark Forest, I can think of is. I wanted to do maybe something with poison apples with the ancient oak, because the apples are dropped by oak and dark oak. We briefly talked about brown bears. We talked about a mob that is based on the Fang Evoker attack, like an actual Fang mob that is in the dungeons. The boss itself went through tons of iterations. How he spawns, his mechanics, his attacking, what he looks like, just everything. We talked about a few different new illagers. I don't know. There's a lot that you don't see, but there's always good reasons why it's cut.
Yeah.
So don't feel like you're deprived of any features. What you see is what we feel like is our best ideas and best product. So if something gets cut, it's because it didn't meet whatever standard or situation we're approaching.
Definitely.
What do you think is the most fun part of what do you think is the most fun part of playing Minecraft and modding?
We don't really play the game very much anymore.
Yeah.
But for modding, it's a creative outlet for me, at least, because I'm not good at anything except like programming. I'm alright at. So it's a creative outlet. I love seeing people's responses to things we make, especially when it's positive. Even the negative stuff's like interesting to get into. I don't really take it too personally. But
yeah.
it's I just like making things, and people respond well to it, and I like that.
Yeah. Minecraft in general, I would say probably the social aspect of it. That's how Sam and I met, which we'll talk about more in a minute. But I can play Minecraft single player, sure, but like I will spend 10 hours max in one world, whereas I've played hundreds, I've played thousands of hours online on SMPs and stuff, and that's definitely the aspect of it. Like probably on the server Sam and I play on, I love having shops, and I love like selling goods and like haggling and bartering, and that's such like a weird niche thing, but that's something you could do in Minecraft because it's so sandboxy, right?
For sure.
Modding, pretty much what Sam said. It's basically a creative outlet. It's a kind of a fulfilling hobby. I get really down in the dumps if I don't have some sort of like creative outlet. So doing like pixel art and other assets and stuff helps me scratch that itch.
Cool. Will you be updating the Nether and or cave biomes? Maybe it's the answer to that.
Yeah.
It's not going to be anytime soon. Because the goal of Biome Makeover is to sort of modernize the older biomes, and these are very new biomes which are currently up to modern standards. If we get to the point where we've done everything else and we need some more biomes, maybe those aren't up to the modern standards anymore, and we will have a go at it. But even then, our biomes won't be updated, so who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, we don't want to add content just for the sake of adding content.
Yeah, and we're not going to be
Just because we
working
can
on
add
Biome Makeover forever. It's going to stop at some point.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
there
maybe
there will be a point where it's feature
yeah,
complete.
maybe never. Who knows? Probably at some point, maybe is the answer.
What inspired you to start the mod? I'm assuming, of course, you mean Biome Makeover. Primarily,
We wanted YouTube
Here's
content,
a little
right?
secret. Here's a little secret. Yeah, we started the mod to make YouTube videos about making the mod. We didn't make our priority with them making the mod wasn't to make the mod, which is like crazy. But if we put out something and we have our names on it, we want it to be really good, and we want it to be something that we feel like improves the game. And that people want to play, and that we ourselves would want to play.
Yeah.
So we do still have a standard of quality, but it was definitely just for content for Laser Knights.
Yeah. We were kind of not doing as many videos as we wanted for quite a while, which is why we started the preview videos with the Dark Forest update, just so we can get more content out there. And people have been really happy to see those, so we'll continue doing those, definitely.
Yeah, it's a weird balance because we have to spend time on the mod to make videos about the mod, but then we have to spend time on the videos about making the mod, but then we can't work on the mod if we're making videos about the mod. So it's just like a crazy, like, self-eating, snake eating its own tail. Like, how do you manage time? What do you do? So we're getting it figured out.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So the next question is, where did you two meet?
When would have been 2016?
Yeah,
I think
met probably around 2016. We met as part of like a multiplayer, invite-only multiplayer server.
we met in a cafe in Paris. We
Yeah.
both put our hand on a croissant at the same time.
Well, when you joined the server, I wasn't very active at the time, so we didn't talk for a while. And then we started playing Gary's Mod TTT with the same group, and that's kind of when we started kissing.
Then we went to cafes and shared coffee. No, yeah, you weren't around that much. But we spent hundreds of hours playing Trouble in Terrorist Town, which I love. And we bonded over that because a lot of shenanigans ensued with that. And then I moved away and had crappy internet, wasn't around for a little while to go to school, and then eventually I moved to where I had internet again. And when I knew I was coming back, I had my own little YouTube channel that wasn't doing anything. It was little Let's Plays and stuff. And I notice that I feel like my content's better when I have someone to like kind of engage with, bounce ideas off of, joke with. So I approached Sam in like mid to late 2018 and was like, hey, how would you feel about starting a YouTube channel? And kind of pleaded a little bit. It was actually kind of cringe and desperate. But and he was like, yeah, sure. And so at the beginning of 2019, February, I believe, we uploaded our first videos to Laser Nights. And that went through several iterations.
Yeah, we did Let's
what we
Plays
did,
for a
and-
big chunk. Like, we did, like, nearly daily uploads for, like, nearly a year, which is pretty crazy.
6 days a week.
We didn't.
Yeah,
we only
for
got like
nearly a year.
we
That
got
was
like
crazy.
100 subscribers out of that. So shout out.
Not even.
to
I don't
the
think we even broke
OGs.
100 in that time. Yeah.
Then we tweaked our content a couple of times before settling on what we're doing now, which is making stuff and showing it off essentially.
Yeah. And we feel fulfilled. We feel like we're making a good product. You all seem to enjoy it, so I think we're
Yeah,
good
it's
in a good
It's
spot.
growing the channel. It's great.
Are you guys planning to maybe go back on previous biomes? Cough, cough, mushroom fields, cough, cough. You overhauled and do a revamp. Possibly.
Yeah, we're not against it. Mushroom Fields is by far our weakest update. It was like our first one. We were working out what we were doing. We've added stuff to the mushroom field as we go along. We've recently added the wild mushrooms back into there. We've tweaked like the blighted balsa generation a little bit. I don't think we'll ever do like a full. Well, maybe we will, but we're probably not planning on doing a full like go back to a certain biome and revamp it at any point soon.
Yeah,
but we'll do
I
tweaks.
agree.
We'll do
I think
tweaks at least.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, like you said, I doubt we'll do like mushroom fields too, but we've released smaller patches here or there, like texture tweaks or like adding recipes and functions and stuff, and that kind of will happen over time. Something I've thought about doing is whenever 1.17 comes around, is some textures I don't like. That would be a good time to kind of tweak and revamp. So what I might do in the coming months is release texture packs on the Patreon, and if let people play with those, see what they like. If they like the new ones, like the old ones, what people think, and then maybe once we have a big time porting it over to 1.17, that would be a good time to roll out some new textures.
What's your favorite Caves and Cliff update feature that isn't the new cave generation? So I've delayed the update since this question was asked, so who knows what we're getting when. But just talking about what we've seen so far in general, I quite liked the technical changes. I'm a big fan of like how the new like mountains are supposed to generate, how the cave biomes presumably will generate. We haven't seen those at this point. The world heights changing, all that sort of nitty gritty technical stuff. Apart from that, I do really like the axolotl.
Yeah. Axolotl's great. Oh, man, some of those animations are crazy. Like, oh, they're so fluid. They're so good. I think, I think for me, it's the fact that we have, this isn't new to this update, but they're utilizing it a lot more. Like sub-biomes or like height-specific like the cave biomes specifically, because before it was just, oh, this chunk is a swamp, or this area is this area is this, but now it's like, oh, you've got layered things, and like, oh, with the deep dark, and like, you know, the deep slate and everything, like it makes the world a lot more dynamic and interesting to explore vertically, whereas before it was more interesting to explore like horizontally.
Sure.
And I think that's a major change that I'm in favor of. I'm starting to design models on Blockbench, and I'm having trouble with creating good textures. Any tips for that? Oof, man. So I will preface my answer to this question, assuming it's from me. Sam, you want to take over? With I'm very much self-taught outside of, you know, like watching just like YouTube tutorials. So my first suggestion is watch YouTube tutorials. A lot of the principles and stuff that make good Minecraft textures are principles that make good pixel art. And even in a broader sense, like good like art in general, like composition, color theory, that kind of stuff. So do that first. That's good. And then look at if there is a if there's an example of something already in the game that is similar, use that as kind of inspiration. Obviously, I'm not a fan of just taking something and like shifting the hue and be like, all right, here's my Greenland, and it's a green zombified piglin, and like it's great. That's bad. But see how this is how they shaded the buckle. The highlight is a lot higher contrast because it's metallic. The skin is shaded this way. This underside has a shadow on it because it's not exposed to the light in the same way. So that would be my biggest suggestion, besides like just watching tutorials and stuff like that.
My tip would be, if you're making entity models, is to learn how you're meant to use the bones correctly, because you'll save your programmer a lot of time if you know how to do that.
Yeah, that's just a good tip for Blockbench, and that's something I struggled with a lot when we were first starting out.
Well, you had my terrible explanations on how to do it.
Yeah, I'm almost there. I almost got it figured out. I almost know what I'm doing. Yeah, good question.
What is your favorite game besides Minecraft?
Among Us.
Oh no.
No. You go first.
Mine is I don't know if I like the game, but I play a lot of RuneScape. It's a
Oh yeah.
It's a grindy game. It's one of those games where you reach a goal and then you feel happy for 5 minutes before you realize you have to go for the next goal. But it's
which will take you dozens to hundreds of hours.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. But I don't know if I like it.
Yeah. I don't play a lot of games anymore. I definitely play Minecraft of anything. I was a huge Fallout and Bethesda fanboy for a while. Some of the recent stuff, not as crazy about, but I'm a huge fan of the Fallout universe for sure. And I tell you what, I'll answer this question this way because you didn't specify. Love a good board game. Just love me a good board game. Mysterium, Betrayal, The House on the Hill, Coup. Just give me a good board game. Oh, no! D&D, if that counts, if board games counts, it has to be like D&D or Pathfinder.
D&D's good.
Yeah, that's my answer. Yeah. Will you add redstone features, and if so, which ones are on your mind?
Where they make sense, really. I think the only major redstone thing we've added is the poltergeist, which is sort of like a randomizer.
Yeah.
If one fits,
basically,
we'll add it.
Yeah. Basically, it's like we've said a lot before, is we'll add something not because just for the sake of adding it. So we're not going to add a bunch of redstone features just to have a redstone update. But if something works really well with it, then we'll do that. I don't think we have currently any like specific things like, oh, this has to be, we need a hopper for fluids, we need blah blah, I don't think there's anything like that is on our mind. But we'll just see with the future updates what comes.
For sure. Next question is, any chance for a face reveal when the time is right? I mean, I'm not like against it. I just generally don't like face cams. Like, I don't really see the point a lot of the time. Max's face is out there.
Yeah, I'm out there. There's like 5 Discord emotes that are my face.
True.
Of varying periods of my life over the past 5 years. So if you want to see it, there it is. Yeah, I mean, maybe, but it won't be like, oh man, tune into this stream for our face reveal. It'll just be like,
this game needs a face.
Here's our face.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Will your other mods ever get updated to a new version?
I assume that's more of a question for me, because Biomaker was the first one I've really worked together with. I guess it was Gubbins. Gubbins, which is a mod, we made a showcase video on it. Max did all of the textures for that still. Probably not going to update it.
They're rough.
As it is. I'd definitely tweak it if I ever would. Things like Trap Expansion, which is... I think we also did a spotlight on that, didn't we?
No, we didn't. I did. I did years ago on my other channel.
That's right.
There's not one on the Laser Knights.
That's right. I mean, maybe eventually. I still quite like that mod. It's not like a priority or anything. No one's missing them too much.
I think... Yeah. Am I crazy in saying that it is more likely that we would just completely do a new mod with a similar concept versus spending time updating an old mod?
Probably not for something small like Trap Expansion or my Simple Teleporters
Okay,
mod or something.
sure.
Because both of those are already on Fabric and they're very small. It will take me probably like an hour to update both of them. But it's just like, I don't have any motivation to do that.
Yeah. And that is all the questions that we have today. If this is well received or you think we should do more, if you'll have more questions, then maybe we'll do another one in the future. But again, we want to thank you all so much for your wonderful support. Sincerely, it's been crazy. If you told me a year ago we'd be here today, I wouldn't believe you.
Yeah, so thank you for all the support. Check out the Patreon. The links are in the description and probably everywhere. And yeah, thank you. We'll see you next time.